Hey guys, Harvey Cthulhu here, asking you to please consider subscribing to this channel. Doomcock is fighting a war to save pop culture, and he would really appreciate your subscription. Also, click the notification bell and give a like to the video if you like it. And if you could consider pushing the button and allowing me to escape my containment field and destroy the universe, I would really appreciate it. All right, on to the video.
My friends, excuse me for a few moments while I address the Walt Disney Company directly, because I think it's time they heard some harsh truths. In my last video, I said that the finale of Book of Boba Fett was so bad, it made me stop caring about Star Wars. This much was true for me. I'm aware that a number of fans enjoyed it, and I'm truly glad they did. I respect the fans, much more than Disney has historically, and I want my fellow geek brothers and sisters to find what happiness they can in this troubled and depressing world, in these troubled and depressing times. I was speaking only for myself, and for those fans who feel the same way as I do, but I was shouting at the top of my lungs in the hope that it would get through to you, Disney, because I think you're blowing it. I know you're blowing it. The Book of Boba Fett was, to me, an epic failure for Disney and Lucasfilm. The failure wasn't simply the finale, of course. It was the Book of Boba Fett as a whole, a wildly uneven story that had many more lows than highs for me. But the final episode was so bad, in so many countless ways, it made me question why I'm even watching this garbage anymore. It was a bitter disappointment to me, so complete in its wretchedness, poorly directed action, lack of truthful consequences, and a truly terrible script, I had to throw my hands up and step away in protest. I needed to protect myself from wasting more of my life on such substandard product, but more importantly, I felt that it was time for an intervention, Disney. I felt that only the strongest possible protest could make any impression on you. Why did I do this? Because despite my anger, frustration, and disappointment, I can never give up and walk away from Star Wars entirely. My mission remains unchanged. I am determined to do everything I can to save pop culture, and I can never walk away from that aim. But sometimes, to save something we love, when something is hurtling toward destruction, we have to exercise some tough love, even if we have to walk away to make it clear just how serious the situation is. And that is where I am at this moment. Note in my video, I didn't say I'm through with Star Wars. I said you guys pushed me and fans like me to the point where I can no longer care about Star Wars in terms of watching any more of it. But I did leave the door open because I've loved Star Wars all my life. I'm not throwing it away. I'm protesting as loudly as I can in a last effort to save it. I realized after I made the video that it was really a cry for help. It was, in a sense, an intervention for you. And when I realized that, I knew I had to make another video, this video, an actual intervention in an attempt to save Star Wars from being crushed in the garbage disposal. And so, here it is. Now Disney, you may well think, oh, big deal, so it was a few lousy episodes. It happens, who cares? You fans are too touchy, you need to get over it. You need to be patient with us. Well, Disney, those remaining fans who haven't just thrown up their hands and walked away, they've been nothing but patient. Insanely patient, given the horrible insults and disappointments that Disney and its employees have inflicted on us. What you don't seem to quite grasp is, our patience is paper thin at this point, where it exists at all. When we tune in to some new piece of Star Wars, we are hoping that you guys will show us something great. The very act of tuning into anything you do is an act of faith, of forgiveness, and frankly, of charity. Because Disney, you really don't deserve forgiveness. You have never apologized to fans, never taken public ownership of your mistakes. Fans like me have been holding on despite that in an effort to salvage an irreplaceable piece of pop culture mythology. So each time we watch, you should realize what an act of charity it is on the part of fans who, despite being disappointed time and time again, are swallowing their pride on behalf of a greater good, the salvation of our pop culture. That's why I've kept watching, kept fighting, kept trying to keep an open mind and urge others to do the same. Well, while I'm going to stop watching for a while, until I know you are committed to making every single episode stellar and worthy of my attention, I am not giving up fighting for Star Wars. I'm going to keep posting rumors, commentary on developments, news and information, keeping my subscribers apprised of things that are coming. And this intervention is part of me fighting for Star Wars. If I had simply walked away, I wouldn't bother. So here it is, Disney. Here is my message to you. You need to raise your game because you have almost no goodwill among fans left. Every time you make new Star Wars, you'd better make it outstanding because you have a very narrow margin of error, which is all your fault. Fans have been slighted and disappointed for years and years now. Lucasfilm released a series of terrible movies that severely damaged the franchise, alienating fans with substandard stories, political agendas, and core characters that were humiliated, degraded, and killed. And then, instead of owning up to your mistakes, acknowledging that the films were terrible and apologizing to fans, you kept doubling down and you allowed your employees to insult the fans for daring to complain. It was their fault somehow that you made rotten movies. It was their fault that they rejected these films that ruined their childhood heroes and corrupted classic narratives with woke agendas and substandard stories. They were horrible people, deplorables. That's the narrative Disney and its employees were pushing, that if you didn't like a main character with no flaws, no challenges, and no character arc, it was because fans are sexist, not because they were so poorly written and paper thin there was nothing there to root for. Disney, the fans have suffered a lot of abuse at your hands, through your actions or inactions, regardless. This abuse happened on your watch, and the fans remember. Oh yes, we remember. Now, because of the enormous challenges of bringing a Star Wars film or television show to completion, there's not a lot of Star Wars material out there. It is months or years between projects. I've done my best to be a link between Disney and fans who are willing to trust enough to set these past grievances aside in the interest of a mutual goal to save a treasured piece of our cultural heritage called Star Wars. I have often argued that it's important not to walk away from franchises like Star Wars, Star Trek, He-Man. It's important to meet companies like Disney halfway, to protest loudly when you fail, and to praise you highly when you succeed. But the key here is halfway. You've got to make the effort too, Disney. You've got to reach out to fans. You've got to be on your best behavior, to deliver your finest efforts. And given the scarcity of Star Wars movies and shows, you've got to realize that every single episode, you are on trial. Fans are choking down their pride and anger in a good faith effort to reach out and meet you halfway. Every single time a disappointed and hurt fan watches a Star Wars episode, it is an act of goodwill and an act of faith. I'm trying here to make you understand, Disney, what thin ice you guys are skating on. After years of insults, betrayals, accusations, slanders, and garbage stories that frequently destroyed Star Wars canon, those fans who are willing to give you a chance, you should revere like they were gold. Second chances are rare and precious, and by my reckoning, you guys are on your 20th chance at least. Every episode counts. Every single episode is an ambassador of the brand to fans who have been treated like trash. And that brings us to Book of Boba Fett. I won't go over all the flaws of the Book of Boba Fett finale. I tackled that in my last video when I said the show made me stop caring about Star Wars, so I won't rehash that here. But I hope you understand that for me to make such a bold step, such a loud protest, it is indeed a very serious situation, and what I did I was compelled to do. You have let fans like me down, perhaps for the last time. We deserve better, by God. After all the abuse, we damn well deserve better. And so I am here, demanding it. And in demanding it, I am still trying to save Star Wars. But if it's going to survive, you have got to raise your game. You have got to care more about your fans, and you have got to assume a little bit of humility in realizing how badly you have damaged this franchise. So no, I am not giving up on Star Wars, but I am walking away from a troubled and abusive relationship because life is too short to waste on trash made by people who clearly don't respect fans enough to put their best effort forward always. But I tell you, Disney, when you get your act together, when you start releasing top-notch stories of exceptional quality, free of politics and hectoring of fans, when you make real Bob Chapek's stated goal of putting fans first and treating us as your Northern Star, I will be here, and I will return to the fold. So I hope this intervention moves you to do better, Disney. I'm still fighting for Star Wars because I want to save pop culture. But Disney, in return, you have to fight for the fans. You have to fight for us. From the center of the earth, this is Victor Van Doomkark, reminding you all, my friends, without respect, we reject. And I bid you all to stay angry. Ha 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 ha.